One of many we can't wait for this weekend. On Saturday, we had another chapter to this rivalry as we take a look back at the three prior meetings between these head coaches, Kiffin and Saban, inexorably linked through second chances and a shared ring back in 2015. Kiffin then as the OC of Alabama. But how dangerous is a man with no hope? The Crimson Tide, with a loss or an LSU win, will be knocked out of SEC title contention. All right, let's dive in with two of the finest minds in college ball. Barrett Sallee, Tom Fornelli, aboard to offer their insight in Oxford and well beyond. Guys, let's start right there. At some point, it does become a question of motivation for an Alabama team, all but eliminated from playoff contention. But, Tom, does that situation specifically, in a way, free up Bama to go hang a number here on the road?
I think there's a possibility of that being the case where maybe for the first time in forever, Nick Saban feels like he could just go coach a football game and not have to worry about all the expectations on the program. But I think when you look at this matchup, knowing Nick Saban, knowing the way he is, he's not happy having lost last week. He's not happy with Alabama being out of the playoff picture. And I think he's going to want to send a message this week, especially with all the talk that is the Alabama dynasty over? They've lost 2 games. They're out of the playoff. And I think one thing I can expect to see in this matchup is Alabama has not been very good running the ball this season. Last week, they faced an LSU defense that is pretty good against the pass, but kind of struggles to stop the run. And they did not run the ball at all against them. They didn't even try. So I'm thinking going in this matchup against an Ole Miss defense that has trouble stopping the run, we're going to see Alabama lean on that run game, try to establish it. If we go back to last year's meeting, Alabama ran the ball 50 times in this game, the most it ran the ball in any game it played all season, scored 3 touchdowns. I think we're going to see a similar approach in this one, which I think means we're going to see limited possessions because Ole Miss this year is a team that's going to be trying to run the ball itself, a lot like LSU did last week against Alabama and found success. So I think we're going to see a lot of carries, a lot of handoffs, the clock running a lot. And I think we're going to see a lower score than that total suggests, so I'm going with the under here.
Tom, you talked about Alabama running the football, and it makes sense to me. It makes sense to you. It makes sense to everybody on the planet except Bill O'Brien, who seems to forget that he can actually call running plays for Alabama. So I'm going to take Ole Miss, and I'm going to grab those points. I think, look, a couple things. One, you couldn't draw up a better time to play Alabama than right now. Lane Kiffin, 2 weeks to prepare. You know he's going to get creative. An Alabama team that's lost 2 of 3 and is completely undisciplined on the road consistently. That's been an identity of this team for 2 years now. And then the offensive line. That's a big problem for Alabama. They haven't fixed that yet. And this is an Ole Miss defense. Yeah, we can argue whether they're awful or just mediocre. They're still good at getting back in the backfield and getting those tackles for loss. So I think on top of that, you look at what Alabama's weakness is defensively. It's its secondary, and Ole Miss operates a lot like Tennessee does. Run the football, operate quickly, and take the top off deep. Last week, when Georgia beat Tennessee, it kept everything in front of them. I don't know if that's going to happen this time for an Ole Miss team that can copy exactly what Tennessee did. So to me, I think when you look at the way this matchup works, it is not in favor of Alabama. I think you're going to see a 40, 50-point game for Ole Miss. And quite honestly, I don't think Alabama can keep up.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.